I told myself I wouldn't be covering the situation. I'm not a news nor industry channel. I don't want to make this horrible situation into K-tube drama, but that's not what I'm here to do. I'm not here to update or inform, to tell people what they already know. I'm here to rein in and check people, as I've noticed a lot of people who don't know how to properly engage with a situation like this. I truly urge everyone to think critically about this topic and treat it with seriousness. Disclaimer: I'm probably going to be using a lot of accusatory you and y'all statements. This is obviously not directed at every single watcher of this video. I shouldn't even have to preface that. If I see anyone getting overly defensive in these comments, I'm going to assume you're at least part of the problem, because if this doesn't apply to you, there's no need to wear a shoe that doesn't fit. Anyway, with all of that being said, let's get into the video. One thing a lot of K-pop stans seem to have a problem with is that some of you guys don't know how to separate the groups you stan and this lighthearted hobby. And this lighthearted hobby away from serious and heinous acts that happen in an industry and societal level. I get it. This is a hard situation to wrap our heads around. Most people don't even know how to process it. So they just recontextualize every facet of this conversation into stan drama and the groups they enjoy. But that's not okay. This is a crime. A crime. I've seen people say things like, "This is why I don't stan boy groups. Good day to be a GG stan. I'm so glad it wasn't insert group here." And worse, I've seen people blaming previous Taeil fans for not knowing their ult was an abuser. Truly, how are the fans of Taeil or NCT supposed to know that? It's not their fault for assuming someone they looked up to would be a decent human being. The hard pill to swallow about this situation is that we don't know our idols. We never will. So do not fall under the false notion that you definitely know Bumgyu from TXT would never do something bad. Do not assume that just because female idols are women, they're somehow incapable of being abusers. That is how abusers get away with their actions. People think they're too sweet and innocent based on their personas to do stuff like this. Nobody suspected Taeil of this. He was seen as a kind, sweet idol who respected everyone. So what makes you think your fave could never be responsible for the same? Truly, I've seen people say abhorrent things. I saw someone comment something along the lines of, "The other day a Taeil stan called Somi a flop. Look at him now." What is wrong with you? This is not some sort of gotcha. This is not something to throw in the face of people who are already heartbroken. You're a weirdo. You're a weirdo if you trivialize a situation as terrible as this into some sick stan war. Next, I'd like to talk about the looming anxiety that other idols, and more specifically NCT members, could have known about this situation. And I think this is a very valid worry. I've had it myself. But there's a healthy and unhealthy way to engage with this line of questioning. Just because we don't know anything and have this worry, it does not mean you have the right to accuse or blame any of the other NCT members for not knowing. We do not know the full truth. We do not know the extent of their complacency. Before I share my more specific thoughts on this, I'd like to share a video by another creator who articulated why this line of questioning is still valid in a way I couldn't explain myself.
Some of you are still missing the point. Taeil's a scapegoat, and what that means is that everybody unfollowing him does not mean that they believe the victims. This kind of abuse is systemic. This is under patriarchal systems, this is under capitalistic systems. When we point all the blame and just go, "Oh, that was you, that was nothing to do with, we have nothing to do with this person," is everybody trying to save themselves, because capitalism depends on hierarchical systems of competition. So when somebody is caught making, it doesn't matter if it's intentional or a mistake, they are going to be like, "Oh, hands off, that was your problem, not ours. We have nothing to do with this." When the reality is, under systemic abuse in situations like this, it is tiered. You end up being the way that you are, not just as like an independent person. You have friends that agree and have the same values that contributed to why you think that you're entitled to engage in abuse. You may have family members that you may have experienced this with or seen and noticed that the male family members were always getting off the hook. You have legal systems that also supplement and support this. This is not an isolated incident. This is like, and I think that's very scary and dangerous about what goes on when we see idols or different celebrities in Korea getting canceled, is they are simply the single scapegoat, and our human brains can't process the fact that it's like this like bigger, more dangerous systemic situation. Like even when you look at like the whole Burning Sun scandal, there were so many idols that also were involved in that we also don't know about. Actually, there was one, I'm not going to mention who he is, but like he ended up like he's like one of the biggest musicians like internationally, known for his one of those, you know, really catchy songs. He was there. He knew all these guys. You don't think that this guy was actually involved and just so happened that like he was able to get away with it? These guys get away with it all the time. This is a systemic problem. And everybody unfollowing does not mean that they support or believe the victim. And that's a scary part. So don't you're gonna have to take a little bit of time just to like process that and just understand like we're supporting men. Like we're like when we follow idols, they're not just idols, they're men. They're selling you an illusion. And I understand that we have these parasocial relationships, but it's a lot deeper and a lot more sinister than that. Because this is patriarchy, and this is not exclusive to that to the country of Korea. This is a universal problem. Patriarchy is very, very scary.
With that being said, I think a lot of people are forgetting that abusers are very good at hiding what they do. Do you think Taeil is parading around the fact that he's committed sex crimes? No. He's created and hiding behind a meticulous persona and has managed to cover his tracks every step of the way. Maybe, just maybe, the other members knew or had suspicions. But it's also just as likely they were completely blindsided. This is something I never thought I would talk about on my channel, but I just want to speak from experience real quick. I am a victim of, well, something like this too. And for a lot of years, I wondered, how did no one know? How did no one see that I was hurting? How did I just go ignored? That shook me for a lot of years, as I held immense resentment towards the people in my life who I felt should have picked up on some signs. When I finally came out with what happened to me, I asked my mom, "How did you not know?" To which she answered that she failed me, that she's so sorry. She knew my abuser had something wrong with him, but she never could have assumed he would do anything like that. She never could have known. My sister had the opposite response. She said she should have known. She should have picked up on the signs. She should have helped me. But that's just not true. They couldn't have known. They failed to protect me, yes, but they aren't bad people. They would never intentionally let something like that happen. So I guess take with that what you will. This isn't me saying that's what happened with the members of NCT, but I just want to contextualize that nobody ever truly knows abusers. It could be your best friend, your brother, your sister, a friend of a friend. It could be anyone. No one could suspect it. Now, before I wrap up this video, I'd like to add one more thing. We know there are more Telegram chat rooms where idols and influential figures are soliciting and spreading around CSAM materials. Wait, quick rant. It's CSAM, not child pornography. Pornography implies a consensual interaction meant to stimulate erotic arousal. CSAM calls it what it is. Child SA material. So please stop using that word. Anyways, we know that there are idols in these chats, and that apparently will be exposed soon. The problem is that, yet again, K-pop stans see everything through a K-pop lens. I've seen countless videos almost reveling in the fact that this is happening, more hungry for the drama side of things instead of justice for the victims. I've seen people show more worry and concern for their image of their favorite idols instead of the fact that something as disturbing as this is happening. Oh my god, please don't let it be Stray Kids. If ATEEZ is here, I'll cry. This is not about your faves. God, for 1 minute, just stop. Just stop. And think about the victims instead of yourself for 1 moment, please. Oh my god, it's so infuriating. I'm sorry if your faves are on here. It's heartbreaking, yes. But holy god, you having to unstand your faves if they're in here is not the problem. The problem is that this is happening. You guys are more worried about saving face than saving victims, and it's just disgusting. And also, please stop spreading false information. I've seen so many people say, "Oh my god, it's 200 idols in these chats. These idols are going to be exposed and the K-pop industry will crumble." No. It is 200 Korean celebrities, actors, and influential figures. with the actual number of idols being around 10 to 30. Stop reveling in the drama. This is serious. More evidence will come to light. More people will be exposed. And we just need to take the evidence and listen to the victims. This is not a Stan war. This is not drama. This is not something cathartic for you to revel in. Stop. And that's all I have to say for this video. I truly have no outro for this. Just, I'm sorry for the victims. I'm sorry for NCT fans, Taeil fans. This is just an incredibly sad situation.